Okay, hello. Today we're going to talk about the game that I've made for my assignment. Basically, I've called it Cubes Escape, and what I've done is I've created a game that modularly creates left or right directions to escape to get to an end goal in the fastest time possible, avoiding traps whilst being chased by an enemy. We'll go with this development video. What I want to do is go through every element and try and explain the thought process behind what I've created. So logical starting place is the start menu. With this start menu, basically I created the assets that we see in front of us here using Photoshop. I just wanted a clean chalkboard style look the overall game, just to give it a simple cartoony look, was what I was basically going for. When we load up the game, what we've got is we've got interactable buttons that using the animation process will increase, decrease as we hover over them. When we click on specific buttons, it will do what it states on there. So exit game, obviously exit, start game, start game. For tutorial, what I did is I wanted to create a simple splash image that was easy to read and can be used again during the game, during the pause menu, and when it first started up. So in case the players hadn't looked, they could see what was going on. Again, just using simple, clean images just to try and display what the purpose was of the controllers that were being used by the specific people. With the fastest times, this is actually using an XML document, which I'll get up in a moment to show you, to load up the information. So it gives the player a challenge of actually trying to beat a specific time. With the XML document, this is the actual document itself, and within the code, when the game starts up, it reads into, let me just find that one, config, there we go. So with this code here, what the game will do is it will search in the resources folder for a specific XML document, save this cubes records as we see just up there. It will load in that document, then it will search within the document for specific tags called records, which we've got here. So this is the container tags, and then it will loop through and bring back the nodes from each element within that tag and bring back what we need. So for instance, it will look for record 1, the time and the name, record 2, the time and the name, and record 3, the time and the name. And it will take that information and load it in to the game system and add it to the child. So effectively what it's going to be doing is, if we load up the game system, let me just get that loaded. In each part here where it needs to be loaded, so when the game first starts up, it will load the specific element from the document and put it in the place it needs to be. So for this instance, for player 1, it will set the player 1's name within this section of name 1. So name 1 here. So it's going to take name 1 and add it in to the names 0, effectively adding all of this into the specific place it needs to go within our list that holds all of the information for the top scores and the top players. And then if at the end of the game a player has a high score, so if we go to the end game, when the player finishes the game, he brings back the time that he's just got from that run that he's just done. It will check that time against each one of the times within the lists, and it will move the list accordingly to where it needs to go. So if they have the fastest time, what was the fastest time becomes the second fastest, second becomes third, etc., etc. Then it will print out for the player to see at the end. But again, we'll go through that at the end so we can see it actually running. Going back to the game, So when all of that documentation is loaded in via the XML, it's then printed just onto this simple menu here. If we go back into game system, not game system, we want main menu system, just there. So on initialize, it's going to take the player who is the first name within the names holder of the fastest people and print their name and the time that he got or he or she got, and then add seconds on the end. So effectively what it's going to do is it will just loop through and it will create what we see on the screen there. Okay, so that's the main menu. Obviously you'd click start game to go into the game itself, but what we're going to do is we're just going to go across into the game build and run it from there. Now what I wanted to do at the start was make it so that before the game starts it gives the players a chance to get their head around what's going on. As we can see, it's just a simple splash with a goal of what is actually going on the in the game, so what the point of the game is. Very brief, very simple. If I took this forward, I'd probably like to make it a little bit more in-depth and understandable. I've just noticed that for some reason the player 2 information isn't showing, so let's just fix that quickly. Canvas. Apologies for the delay, just quick fix. Okay, so yeah, when the players load in, they've got a swift brief about what it is that they're actually going to be doing here, and then it's close to continue. Again, as I said at the start, I wanted it to have the splash so the players can actually see what their controller purpose is. One of the things that I wanted to implement was a sound system, because I've got the music so it is relatively loud, we can't hear it at the second. I'll have to fix that in just a moment. But basically it will set the sound and the enemy movement, which you can hear the enemy as it's getting closer and closer, because there's a tick coming towards it. This is useless.